Oh my God, Anita.
Hey, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show. How are you doing today? I was going to do a video about Mouseland, so that's going to be delayed perhaps tomorrow or day after tomorrow because something came to my attention last night that needed to be addressed. So I want to address that this morning while I have it in me to address it because what this person had to tell me on Twitter, and I have my suspicions who this person is. I'm just going to take a guess, and just making a guess who this person is, and I'll get to that tweet in due time. There is a controversial state Senate race going on in New York, in the state of New York, in District 59, between Kristen Gonzalez, who's one of the Democrats running. She is a left-wing Democrat endorsed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, endorsed by Democratic Socialists of America, endorsed also by the Working Families Party. She's been endorsed very late into the game. Progressive commentator Nomiki Konst, who has very similar politics to Kristen Gonzalez, decided to enter the race. Now, they're both are entering it. They're both running as Democrats, kind of competing for the same seat. Elizabeth Crowley, who's the cousin of Joe Crowley. Joe Crowley is the former congressman that was defeated by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez 4 years ago in 2018. Just like Joe Crowley is a corporate Democrat. And while I am outside the two-party system, I look at that particular race, and if you want to see a shift toward the left, in a realistic way, like working within the two-party system, you already had an agreement within the left, the institutional left, to support Kristen Gonzalez. And it's been kind of agreed across the country. Everybody who's been paying attention to this race, that Nomiki Konst is pretty much acting as a spoiler. I mean, she is. I mean, she is acting as a spoiler. There's no way around it other than that. She's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez back Kristen Gonzalez. And Nomiki Konst reaches out to California to Congressman Ro Khanna, to endorse her. What the fuck? But anyway, I mean, even a lot of her allies kind of have turned against her, and she's going to be pretty much washed up, because if a right-wing corporatists win this race for state senate, it's going to be Nomiki Konst's fault when it comes to that, right down to it. It's my opinion, but I think it's also a lot of other people's opinion as well. And really, when you think about it, that opinion really is fact. It really is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play from a video I saw the other day from Mike from PA, and listening to his take was interesting, and I'll share some of my thoughts from his video. So hold on a second here. Okay, give me a moment, and we'll get started shortly. And Mike from PA, I highly recommend that you subscribe to his channel. I'll put down his link at the end. So hold on a second here, and let me do one more little thing over here, and we will get started. Okay, all right, okay, take it away.
It's time for drama. Sam Seder taking on Nomiki Konst. Or is Sam Seder not going to do it? I don't know, because I haven't watched it. But I'm putting this title as a debate. So if it's true, good. Hopefully I'm right and I predicted it. If not, oh well. All right, be right back. I'm listening.
I haven't said anything about it really since, I don't know, the day after, whatever, the Friday that Nomi announced on the show. I did not do my due diligence in assessing this race that I think was probably warranted, insofar as, like, I don't generally cover state senate races. And certainly if this race was taking place in California and I didn't know any of the people beyond, I mean, I'd never heard of Kristen Gonzalez before. And if I had known, Betty Smith running against, Kristen Gonzalez in California's, I don't know, whatever it is, 230th Senate District, however they have there, how many they have there, my default would be to simply go with the institutional left and who they're supporting without any assessment of the race, because I don't have time to go through every state senate race. In this instance, in a million years, I wouldn't have endorsed any candidate in Senate 59 unless one of them happened to be someone who was a regular on our show.
Now I want to give my take on this. I am not exactly the biggest fan of Sam Seder in the world. I don't dislike him. He's just not one of my top online leftist programs to listen to. I listen to his program. I mean, he's, I will say I agree with his takes more than I would disagree with him overall. And that would be the same about largely through BreadTube. He just, I'm going to say it like it is. His program's pretty boring for the most part. And that's probably my fault. It's a fault of mine, maybe. But what he said there, as far as trying to push the left further within a realistic or getting involved in practical politics, he's right. You know, you would look at the institutional left and look at it perhaps a DSA local or Working Families Party affiliate or whatever, you know, I guess you could say Progressive Democrats of America or whatever left-wing group that runs closest to your ideology that you're aware of, and you go with that judgment call. And he didn't keep up with that, what goes on close to his backyard, and I wouldn't expect him to. I don't keep up with what goes on in my backyard too much here in North Carolina. I mean, I'm not going to go knock him down for that. So I'm not criticizing him. So, I mean, and I understand that Nomiki Konst works with them on that show, and he just took it for granted to support her. But I think he realized it might have been a mistake. But anyway, I'll let them continue.
I was under the impression at the time that the endorsements were specific to the earlier districts. And so it never occurred to me not to endorse Nomi. I haven't talked about it since because basically at this point, it's not, we announced her on the show. And frankly, both candidates probably raised more off of Nomi's appearance on the show than they would have in any other single day or two or period. My understanding is Kristen went on to another show that she probably would have never ended up on, and used our show as a fundraising thing. So I feel like I've raised more money for both candidates than probably any other single individual by the decisions that we made. I mean, I think that's just
Super bundler.
I think that's just the God's honest truth. And I don't live in the district. I don't know that I would have made the decision that Nomi is making, but frankly, I still don't have all the facts. And I've tried. I've had, I have read everything that people have sent me.
Let me interpret that. Damage control. That's what that is. That's damage control. Anyway.
On both sides, generally, I would just simply defer to where the institutional support from the left is. That would be the DSA and the Working Families Party.
I'm going to also interpret that as, I'm going to translate that. We fucked up because we didn't know about this whole Kristen Gonzalez deal. This is how I'm interpreting it and what they're saying. We fucked up. We got loyalty toward Nomiki. And we got similar politics to Nomiki and Kristen Gonzalez. We fucked up, and we're trying to save face about it. And we're going to come out trying to smell like a rose, pardon the social democratic expression, and try to come out without having egg on our face. That's how I am interpreting that. And of course, I could be correct as usual.
I don't have to vote in that district, so I have to make that decision. As far as what I would tell people to do, I don't think that there's anybody, at least who hears my voice, who lives in that district, who hasn't already made up their mind about it. So I don't need to tell anybody what to do. They can figure it out on their own.
I think the thing for me that I want to say right off the bat is that I like Nomiki, but she's from Arizona, okay? From Arizona, she moved to New York, which you're totally free to do. I don't believe that carpet bagging is a real thing unless you move to a place to run. If you immigrate somewhere and you live there as a part of the community, You have absolutely every right to run. People have the right to say you've only been here a year or two, but you have every absolute right to run. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with that. If you don't live in a fucking community, you shouldn't be able to run for the seat. Dr. Oz is a perfect example.
Absolutely. Yeah, Dr. Oz, and it looks like Dr. Oz is going to get his ass kicked in November. And if, I'm not particularly keen on Democrats right now. I'm pretty pissed with how they are, but if there's a Democrat that I have to look at in the entire country that is a rising star, or a Democrat to look up to, a model Democrat, if there is such a thing as a model Democrat in the year 2022, it would be John Fetterman. He would be it. He would be the Paul Wellstone of today, or could be, and I hope he would be. But we'll say what happens if he gets elected.
I just think that when you have a situation, the context that Sam is leaving out in this race is that there is a well-funded corporatist right-wing candidate who is the cousin of the man that AOC unseated, Joseph Crowley, or the niece or something like that. So you have a close relative of somebody who is not only not agree with us on politics, but is actively anti-progressive because they recognize the threat to them and their political family. All right? So that's a moment where you need to drop the fuck out to defeat the anti-leftist. It's not just some lib who doesn't go far enough. It's an active person who despises and wants to destroy the left. There is no fucking allying with that. There is no fucking pussyfooting around. There is no splitting the vote. And truthfully, if I knew that my opponent, I don't care where the district lines change. I don't care about that. District lines change, new district, whatever. If you know my opponent already got a in-cycle fucking endorsement from DSA and AOC, they're gonna get it again. And with all due respect to Nomiki, she doesn't have the standing in those organizations, doesn't have the relationships necessary to overturn that apple cart. Run in a different district. Run for a different position. Bide your time. If you decide you're going to say fuck you to all those organizations, well, guess what? They're going to say fuck you right on back. And you can't complain. That's the game, man. And maybe if Nomiki pulls off the miracle and wins, she will do the magnanimous thing and go back to those organizations and make nice and say, let bygones be bygones. And I will 100% support her in the Senate. But you can't tell me, oh, it's not fair. Those organizations didn't listen to me, blah, blah, blah. Fair? What do you think this is? What do you think this is? Go fish? This is politics. You didn't set the board the right way. That's part of your own failing. So there's no question who you should vote for. It is not the person who's opposed to AOC and DSA. Why are you going soft on North Korea
Well, let me just say this, and he goes on about that. So let me just get back to here. As I said, I think I'm inclined to agree with him, except that I don't like Nomiki. That's the difference between me and him in this one. Would I vote for Nomiki if in another election or whatever, or do I have anything against her on policy? On economics, she sounds great. She sounds great on economics. I've heard her speak on economics, and she sounds great. What I don't like about her is she's very pro-cancel culture. She's very pro-censorship. I don't like that about her, and she's very loud about it. And I have a problem with that. I have a problem. I have a problem with the council culture, a faction of the left, the people who would do the council culture, because a lot of them are too stupid to realize. And what I mean by stupid, I don't mean intellectually, but I mean common sense wise. And not that I am loaded with common sense myself, but the thing about it is that they don't realize that supporting council culture ends up biting us back on the ass every time. Because let me tell you, the left is under attack. They are under attack subtly and overtly. I mean, just look at the fucking Republicans right now. I mean, they did the pretend song and dance about being quasi-libertarian that I never really believed. Oh, I think some of them are sincere, but I never believed many of them when they claim that libertarian zeal that many of them claim for the last 10, 15 years. And there's still a lot of the movement conservatives that they always were. And now a lot of them are adding a fascism to their thing. If you listen to talk show hosts like Jesse Kelly, he makes Rush Limbaugh sound like the guys from Chapo Trap House. I mean, these people, some of these right-wing people are talking about fascism. And they are pro-cancel culture and they're getting loud about it. And somehow they are trying to convince people they're pro-liberty at the same time. And this is why we need to stand up against the cancel culture. I'm pontificating, but that's my problem with Nomiki Konst and many other leftists like Nomiki Konst in that regard. And so I just want to state one of the reasons, one of the pet peeves I do have about her. So, and I as far as Kristen Gonzalez, do as policy wise, again, as I said, I do agree with Sam Seder to defer, and I will take it at their word, DSA's word in New York and Working Families Party in that regard. And I got issues with New York, with the New York Working Families Party. And I have issues with DSA a lot these days, but in this instance, I will take their word or judgment call on this. So and all of that. But as I said, getting back to what I was saying, what happened? I mean. As I said, when the left needs to not shoot themselves in the foot, and it happens too damn often. But I don't. What I want to do now is to discuss the Twitter. That's what we need to discuss. We need to discuss Twitter. So so what we're going to do is do that because. Yeah, last night I was checking my I work graveyard shift, so I was checking my my Twitter and see what was going on, and I put up a tweet last night, and of course let's see it says here Nomiki Konst is a hypocrite for being a spoiler in New York Senate District 59 that will prevent that district from having a real progressive with two candidates canceling each other out in favor of Crowley. She would be lecturing the Greens otherwise. And so, and I stand by what I say, and I die on that hill. Well, someone by the name of Nudge Left, Don't Push, decided to reply to me and basically says the two candidates are not canceling each other out. No, Miki's bringing more resources to this race, expanding the progressive base, and hopefully will increase overall turnout. Summer is a tough time to get voters to the polls. Having a second strong progressive will motivate more people. And I replied in tongue-in-cheek, whatever you say, Nomiki. So that's all. That's take it as you will. So I mean, I can't help but interpret it that way. That's how I am interpreting it, because when I took a look at that profile, and let's go and take a look at that profile for a second, because if this anonymous person decides to take a look at this video and decides to go and block me. I don't want this to be forgotten or inaccessible. So here we are. So let's see what we got here. Give me a second here. And it says on the site here, opinions are my own, not of any campaign. I will block anyone who creates false conspiracy theories. Well, I may sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I think that this profile belongs to a candidate running for office. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong. I mean, but it just sounds like it just sounds like in that person's style. That's basically what I'm saying. I mean, just saying. I mean, I'm just something I've noticed. Just something I noticed. So, anyway, getting back to the Twitter thing. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's go back to that Twitter. That tweet, the controversial tweet. And let's see here. Let me go over here. Let's see. All right, hold on a second. There's some more replies, and also it says, it's a shame that you are using your show to promote an uninformed take on this race in a district that you don't even live in and probably never visited. I commented back. I commented on that 59 district race, but there are opinions, and that's what they are. They're my opinions. I mean, I'm not a professional commentator. I'm not a professional commentator. But I give my opinions because I'm a loud mouth. So that's what it comes down to. And the thing about it is that I mean, it's what I observe. And I just think that I think that taking your time to attack an obscure commentator down in the South and assuming that this person is a hillbilly, that I've never been out of North Carolina. Now, let me tell you something. I've been around the country. I've been in and I've been out of the country several times. I have relatives that live around the country. I have relatives that live in that part of the country. I have relatives that live in the Northeast. So I'm very familiar. I'm very familiar with the Northeast. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Astoria, or what is covered under District 59. I'm not familiar with the various districts of New York, statewide districts, or the congressional districts. I do know that I believe that AOC belongs. I do know she belongs to, I believe, the 14th congressional district. I believe that if I'm correct, that's the district she belongs to. I think that's pretty much the only one I know. Suffice to say, but you're not really owning me with that kind of sarcastic little dig at me. Capiche? You're not. You're not being clever. I mean, you're just proving, what a hateful, Karen I think you are. And, and why, nobody really takes you all that seriously. I mean, I know I don't have a lot of subscribers and I own up to that. But the only reason why you're relevant is that they pick you up at over there at Majority Report because they take some pity on you. And you're going to be a has-been because of this bullshit. So, and we know about your history of liking to run for office too. And there's something to be said about people who are always in a hurry to run for some kind of office, just to have an office that they can say they have been elected to. Just having that press, that anxiety of, I want to get elected. Anyway, if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you disagree with what I have to say, comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As a First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you to create your own platform and utilize it, because we are, in fact, the muckrakers of our time. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and remember to always reject corporate news, and because corporate media has absolutely nothing whatsoever to offer to us. And remember, I will be back again, hopefully the next day or so. And I got stuff to do, so I want you all to take care, and we will talk soon. Bye-bye.